On this version of Earth, there's a red line that connects people who have done the naughty together. They're invisible to everyone except for Yoon-hoop. One morning she hears some noises and uncovers the window to look outside. There's a man with tons of lines above his head trying to get a teenager with just one line in the car, but the girl is mad and runs away. At the man's house there's another woman with multiple lines, so it seems the guy has been caught in the act. When this woman tries to say hi to Yoon-hoop, she immediately covers the window again. Yoon-hoop watches TV with dark sunglasses on because she can see the lines even on the actors on the screen. She thinks humans shouldn't be able to see some things and reveals she's seen the lines since she was born. When she was a kid she didn't know what they were and added them to her drawings. It drove her mother so crazy that she ended up killing her father. As a teenager, Yoon-hoop finally understood the meaning of the red lines and how dangerous that knowledge was. She tried to self-delete in many different ways, but her wounds always healed fast. Since then, she's been researching the lines to try to understand who made them and why they gave her the ability to see them. However, she keeps an introverted life inside an apartment with every window covered with cardboard. When a new neighbor rings the bell to bring a gift, Yoon-hoop doesn't answer and waits until the woman is gone to grab the bag. Meanwhile, Detective Ji-wook starts a new workday at the police station. He complains about having to take care of his niece and laughs when a coworker tells him to get married. When he has a break, Ji-wook and one of the female employees sneak into the archive to get naughty. However, she kills the mood when she invites him to her wedding. At Ark High School, Ji-wook's niece Sun-a is being harassed and beaten up by other girls. Hye-young holds her down with a mop and scolds her for not bringing her money. She also asks her if it was her who reported the harassment, but Sun-a swears she didn't. An angry Hye-young doesn't believe her and throws her around, noticing that Sun-a is smiling for some reason. Then Hye-young holds her against the edge and threatens to kill her if she reports it again. Later, Ji-wook investigates the murder of a single woman in a small apartment. A neighbor says they saw a man wearing a helmet coming to this place, but they thought it had been a delivery guy. There are no signs of naughty abuse and nothing valuable was taken, so the cops don't understand the motive. That night Yoon-hoop receives another fruit gift from her neighbor. She eats it while watching the news and learns about the murdered woman, who is the second case in the neighborhood. In the background she sees a man with a helmet entering the building and is surprised to notice he only has one line, which is extremely rare in adults. Moments later Yoon-hoop hears a bike outside and looks out the window to find the helmet man entering the neighboring building. Thinking he's the killer, Yoon-hoop rushes to grab her phone and calls the cops, however the neighbor receives him with open arms and a red line appears to connect them as they get naughty. The next day Sun-a skips school, so her harassers break into her locker and find an embarrassing note. At home, Sun-a asks Ji-wook for money, but she doesn't tell him what for. Ji-wook gets suspicious when he notices the bruises on her body but she refuses to explain. Then Ji-wook goes to the balcony to smoke and notices the apartment covered with cardboard across the street. At that moment he gets a call from his coworker to inform him that last night someone called to report a helmet man but the person hung up. The police track the call and Ji-wook realizes the address is the cardboard apartment. He immediately pays a visit and when Yoon-hoop uses the peephole she notices that he has hundreds of lines. She won't open the door or talk, but luckily a neighbor passes by and tells Ji-wook that she's a recluse who won't talk to anyone. Refusing to give up, Ji-wook knocks again and explains he's here to discuss the murder, which makes Yoon-hoop open the door. She explains that she mistook a random man for the killer and immediately closes the door again. That night a helmet guy with just one line enters the building. Yoon-hoop hears the noise and sees him through the peephole, which she quickly covers when he turns around. In the meantime Sun-a is getting texts from Hye-young asking her for more money. Getting desperate, she sits outside a bank and waits for a woman to leave the ATM. She follows her through an alley and tries to steal her bag, but she has to stop when a group of men passes by. At the police station, Ji-wook and his co-worker Dong-sik put together clues and realize that both victims knew a man called Young-min. Looking at the picture, Ji-wook realizes he's the guy who told him about Yoon-hoop. He wants to go out to investigate but at that moment he gets an important call. Ji-wook rushes to the nursing home and finds his insane father on the roof. He doesn't dare to say anything and lets the nurses pull him away from the edge. Meanwhile Dong-sik goes to the building to investigate. Nobody answers the door at Young-min's place but it's open, so he goes inside. He looks around and finds a room with some strange things that weird him out. Dong-sik calls Ji-wook to tell him he's found something, but before he can explain, he's attacked from the shadows and the call ends. Young-min beats Dong-sik up and restrains him, then he puts on his helmet and glasses while saying there's only one left. Yoon-hoop hears a noise and runs to the window to see the helmet guy across the street. She tries calling the police but her phone's battery is dead. Noticing that the man is going to his lover's place, Yoon-hoop grabs a knife and puts on her sunglasses before finally leaving the apartment. The process is terrifying and her legs shake as she goes outside. The fear becomes so overwhelming that she passes out on the street and dreams about her mother. In the neighbor's place, Young-min takes off his helmet and looks at the lines above the woman's head. He throws her on the couch and starts choking her, saying that this is how everyone can be saved. At that moment Yoon-hoop shows up and asks him to stop, but Young-min easily takes the knife from her and stabs her while mocking her. Then he goes back to choking the woman, who hits him with a pillow and makes him drop his glasses, so he desperately looks for them. When Ji-wook comes home, he finds Yeon-hoop's shades on the street, so he rushes into the building. Her apartment is open and Ji-wook finds her bored with all the investigation about the red lines. Then he hears a scream and looks out the window to see Young-min attacking the neighbor again. He pulls out his gun as Yeon-hoop crawls toward Young-min to stab him in the leg. Young-min takes the knife and is about to stab her back, but Ji-wook shoots him down from across the street. As he dies, Young-min is happy to see the lines disappearing. While the paramedics are taking care of Yeon-hoop, she remembers Young-min's last words before dying and his desperation to find the glasses. She wonders if the glasses made him see the lines. Ji-wook tries talking to her but he's interrupted when Sun-ae comes home and recognizes her. Later Sun-ae tells Ji-wook that she went to middle school with Yeon-hoop and shares the story of how her mother killed her father before running away. Meanwhile Yeon-hoop realizes that for the first time, seeing the lines has helped somebody. She then gets a message from a block number saying that they can see what she sees, so she should go to Ark High School. The next morning Yeon-hoop can't stop staring at the text and decides to finally get her life together. She removes all the cardboard from the windows and tidies up the apartment. At school, Sun-ae enters the classroom and discovers her harassers have made a mocking drawing of her on the board. Hye-young starts reading the love note she stole from Sun-ae's locker, causing her to jump on her to retrieve it. The girls fight on the floor until the teacher Kyu-jin enters the classroom and pulls Hye-young away. She then takes the note and rips it. After class, Sun-ae is ready to go home, but stops on her way out when she finds a pair of glasses in her locker. Meanwhile Ji-wook still thinks there's something off about the case and visits Young-min's apartment to look for clues. At first it looks like the walls are painted red, but actually millions of lines have been drawn on them. At home, Sun-ae has put on the glasses and can now see one line above her head. When Ji-wook arrives, Sun-ae screams at the hundreds of lines he has. She runs out of the building and as she wanders in the streets, Sun-ae can now see the lines above everyone's heads. In the morning Ji-wook tries to take Sun-ae to school but she's disgusted by his lines and walks away, confirming that they were the fighting people at the beginning. At school, Sun-ae pays attention to the lines and notices that Kyu-jin has never been with anybody. She's also shocked to discover that teacher Sung-jin is connected to Hye-young. During class, Sun-ae is shocked again when Yeon-hoop is introduced as the new transfer. Still on the case, Ji-wook notices that Young-min is wearing glasses in a picture but they're not in the evidence box. Then he goes to the school and asks Kyu-jin about Young-min, since he used to teach there until last year. Kyu-jin says that she never saw him wear glasses. On the roof, Hye-young slaps Sun-ae. When she's about to do it again, Sun-ae stops her and announces she won't pay her anymore. Hye-young kicks her down, but before she can do more, Yeon-hoop tells her to stop. Then Hye-young threatens her by pushing her on the edge, only for Yeon-hoop to grab her in return and try to bring her down too. Yeon-hoop only lets go after telling Hye-young to never bother them again. The harassers leave but Sun-ae isn't happy and tells Yeon-hoop not to intervene. That night Ji-wook goes to a bar that Young-min frequented to interrogate the bartender. He learns that Young-min used to drink alone in silence, but eventually he started talking to himself a lot even though he was sober. The bartender heard him counting something and always saw him wear glasses. In the meantime, Sun-ae follows Hye-young, who secretly meets with Sung-jin. Sun-ae takes a picture of them as they enter a hotel and sends it to Hye-young. However, the girl replies that if this goes public, only the teacher will get in trouble because she's a minor. The next morning, Sung-jin gets a text with the picture and a blackmail note requesting 20 million in cash. He asks Hye-young about it and she tells him that Sun-ae is behind it. When he returns to his desk, he finds pictures of all his affairs. Feeling more confident now that she has power, Sun-ae makes more friends at school and even starts seeing Hye-young's boyfriend Chi-won after he breaks up with her. In the bathroom, Yeon-hoop notices that Sun-ae's glasses match Young-min's and admits she can see the lines, causing Sun-ae to explain that the glasses let her see them too and how she found them. Yeon-hoop tries to warn her about the dangers of the glasses and tells her that the last owner died, but Sun-ae doesn't care. She asks how to get rid of a line so Yeon-hoop tells her that the other person must die. In the evening Sun-ae is trying to get busy with Chi-won, but she's interrupted by a text from Sung-jin saying he has the money. They leave the hotel and go to the mall, unaware that Hye-young is following them. It turns out she'd been in a bathroom stall and heard the conversation about the glasses. Sun-ae drops her bag while she's taking pictures with her boyfriend, so Hye-young takes the chance to steal the glasses. She goes around town looking at all the lines until somebody attacks her. Sun-ae notices that the glasses are missing and calls Yeon-hoop, thinking she took them. However, she can't talk much because she's late for her meeting. She rushes to the school and meets with Sung-jin on the roof. He begs for mercy since he has a family, but Sun-ae reminds him that he knew the other girls harassed her and he did nothing. Then Sung-jin tries to apologize but he's interrupted by a text from his wife, who has received the pictures and is furious. Sun-ae is surprised because she didn't send them but Sung-jin doesn't believe her. At that moment Yeon-hoop arrives at the school and watches Sun-ae fall from the roof, passing out when she crashes. Moments later the doctors at the hospital try to save Sun-ae. Jo-wook arrives and finds Yeon-hoop, who tells him she doesn't think it's Sun-ae self-deleted. The next day Yun Hoop notices that Hae Young hasn't come to school. The other teachers see that Sung Jin hasn't come to work either. Things are tense after Sun A's incident and an argument ensues over teachers' responsibilities when it comes to taking care of their students. After everyone calms down, Jung Woo announces he's not planning to get married anymore. Yun Hoop goes to visit Sun A, who is kept on a respirator, but Ji Wook is there too, so she leaves without saying hi. At school, she sees Jun Sun wearing familiar glasses and takes them from him, but they're normal. Meanwhile, Jung Woo finds the magic glasses at his desk and tries them on. He sees the lines on the teachers' heads and freaks out when Ji Wook comes in with his hundreds. Ji Wook talks to Kyu Jin in private to ask for any useful information and learns that Hae Young didn't attend school today. Next, Ji Wook talks to Chi Won, who doesn't seem upset or worried. Chi Won says he didn't have an actual relationship with Sun A and that she left the date when she noticed something was missing. Later, Ji Wook checks the security footage at the mall and sees Hae Young taking the bag. He wants to keep investigating, however his boss closes the case as self-deletion. Back to Jung Woo, he shows up at his sister Kyung Mi's house to spend the week before he moves to Canada. During dinner, he explains he broke up with his fiancée because she cheated on him. Thanks to the glasses, he realizes that his brother-in-law Byung Chul is a cheater too. The next day Jung Woo notices connections between teachers. He asks Kyu Jin what she would do if she knew someone close to her was being cheated on. She tells him to be certain before saying anything, but that she'd also want to watch the drama. When Jung Woo goes home, he finds a neighbor's package that has been delivered to their door, so he volunteers to take it to the right apartment. He doesn't dare to ring the bell, but he does see the neighbor with dozens of lines above her head. Later, Jung Woo and Kyung Mi honor the day of their mother's death. Jung Woo's annoyed because his Byung Chul didn't come under the excuse of a business trip. The following day, a picture of Hae Young and Sung Jin starts circulating the school and Jung Woo sees the line. In a parking lot, the police have found Sung Jin's body. A letter says he's self-deleted because his affair was exposed, but Ji Wook looks at the evidence and notices that the body was moved after death. Afterward, Ji Wook picks up Yun Hoop at school to try to get more information. Yun Hoop tells him to find the glasses and promises to explain everything if he does. In the afternoon, Jung Woo sees Byung Chul in the car, confirming that the trip was a lie. He follows him in a cab and finds him having dinner with a woman, who he's showering with gifts. Jung Woo calls him to make him leave the table, and while Byung Chul is distracted, Jung Woo walks by the table to look at the room key. Moments later at the hotel, Jung Woo pretends to be room service to make Byung Chul open the door. He pushes him against the wall to confront him about the affair, and Byung Chul agrees to end it, but he asks for some time to take care of things. The next day, Jung Woo gets his things ready to leave the country, but Byung Chul still hasn't called his wife, and that worries him. Jung Woo searches for the other woman on Instagram and discovers that she's pregnant. A furious Jung Woo takes a cab home while trying to call Kyung Mi, who won't pick up. Outside the apartment, he finds Kyung Mi crashing her car into the pregnant woman's vehicle. She comes out and asks her brother why he ruined everything. Then Byung Chul arrives and comforts the other woman first. Jung Woo punches him and almost gets in a fight, but Kyung Mi stops him and reveals the truth. It turns out the pregnant woman is Byung Chul's real wife, and Kyung Mi has been the secret affair all along. However, Byung Chul ended things with Kyung Mi after Jung Woo scolded him, which is why she reacted like this. Meanwhile, Ji Wook searches Sun A's room and finds a notebook. Nearby, Yun Hoop sees that a hotel is looking for employees and takes a picture of the ad. After she's gone, someone rips the ad off. When Yun Hoop gets home, Ji Wook shows her the red lines drawn on the notebook, so she finally tells him everything. The next morning, the glasses are being worn by school secretary Mi Sung, who is always being yelled at by her superiors and whose dream is to be an actress. During the weekend, she likes dressing up with a wig. At the local hotel, Yun Hoop is working as a receptionist. Her new friends from school come to visit her right before Mi Sung arrives to rent a room. Even with the wig, the teens recognize her. Alone in the room, Mi Sung practices her acting by pretending to be a femme fatale. Later, when she leaves, Yun Hoop notices that Mi Sung has one line. At that station, Ji Wook and Dong Sik are still investigating the case behind their boss's back. Ji Wook also checks Yun Hoop's file and learns that her mother killed her father because he'd been having an affair, which she learned about from the red lines on Yun Hoop's drawings. Later at the hospital, Ji Wook asks Yun Hoop if Sun A has any red lines, so Yun Hoop explains she has one, but it isn't connected to anyone from school. That night, Yun Hoop watches the news and learns about a killer who was arrested by the police. The guy appears to be wearing the special glasses. The next day, Jun Sun invites her to hang out. They sneak into the swimming pool and Yun Hoop jumps in with her clothes on. Jun Sun follows her and they both laugh. Feeling comfortable around him, Yun Hoop decides to tell him about the lines she sees. He believes her because she has no reason to lie. The next time Mi Sung goes to the hotel, does her act while talking about finding the glass and how she followed the lines to discover that her crush has a lover, who has many lines unlike the man who only has one line with her. She's made a hole in the wall, and every time the couple meets in the hotel, Mi Sung spies on them. Tired of that woman manipulating her crush, Mi Sung pays to extend her stay in the hotel and makes a plan. The next day, the woman comes again and Mi Sung knocks her out with a fire extinguisher. Then she ties her up and steals her clothes. She puts them on to meet with her crush, who immediately recognizes her from work. Mi-sung gets close as she repeats her lines, but the man isn't interested and tries to leave. She throws a stapler at his back and he suddenly collapses. Mi-sung puts the body on the bed and kisses him while revealing that she put a sedative in his water. At that moment his head starts bleeding and Mi-sung realizes he's dying, so she climbs on top of him and pretends they're doing the naughty to fulfill her fantasy. He dies and his line disappears while Mi-sung reaches her peak. Afterward she sits in the tub with the stapler. Staples end up all over her legs, arms, and even her face. In the hallway, Yoon-hoop sees the restrained woman leaving the room and rushes inside to find the man's body. Soon the police arrive and Ji-wook finds Mi-sung dead in the tub, but the glasses are gone. Once the team has taken all the evidence, Ji-wook drains the tub and finally finds the glasses. When he puts them on, he sees all the lines above his head. At the police station Ji-wook finds out about the affairs among employees. When Ji-na walks by, he's distressed by how many lines she has. Afterward Ji-wook brings Chi-won to the hospital and confirms that Sun A's line isn't connected to him. He asks about her previous boyfriends and Chi-won explains he's never seen her with anyone, but she talked a lot about a guy she hated. That night Yoon-hoop gets a text from an unknown number inviting her to a party for her birthday. The next morning at school, Yoon-hoop notices that Ji-na is unusually shy and has a bunch of lines. At the station, Dong-sik asks Ji-wook for help with an assault case. It turns out that Ji-na came the day before to report a guy named Han-yu who took advantage of her. She said this was her first time having a naughty experience, but while watching the video of the report, Ji-wook sees other lines. Dong-sik and Ji-wook go to the school to investigate and once again Ji-wook is upset by seeing so many teens with lines. When they bump into Kyu-jin, he's surprised to see she has no lines at all. They go looking for Han-yu and Ji-wook sees one line above his head. Han-yu confirms that he went drinking with Ji-na but says he never touched her and he isn't interested in her like that at all. When Ji-wook leaves the school, Yoon-hoop sees him wearing the glasses. She wants to take them from him but he refuses because they may help him solve crimes. Their argument is interrupted by Kyu-jin, who causes Yoon-hoop to walk off. Ji-wook tries asking her out but she's confused so he retracts it. While he leaves, Kyu-jin smiles because she can see all his lines. Afterward the detectives visit an entertainment company where both Ji-na and Han-yu used to work. A boss explains he cut Ji-na loose for not working hard enough and that she's the ringleader in getting other kids to drink. Later the detectives call both teens to the station to ask extra questions. Ji-wook leaves the door open and notices that Han-yu and Ji-na's lines aren't connected. That night Ji-wook gives Yoon-hoop the picture of her mother that he found in her case file. He also explains how the glasses have helped an innocent man from going to jail. Yoon-hoop surprises him by telling him that Ji-na didn't have any lines until last week. The detectives rush to Han-yu's apartment and notice he keeps everything extra clean. Han-yu answers a few questions before kicking them out. Then Ji-wook drags Dong-sik to the building's trash bins, saying that Han-yu's mismatched sheets were suspicious. As predicted, they find a bag with bloody sheets and send them to the forensic team. Meanwhile Yoon-hoop breaks into the hotel while wondering why the glasses keep appearing at her school and workplace. At that moment Jun-sun appears, explaining he saw her on the street and followed her in. They share a sweet moment and end up kissing while Yoon-hoop looks at the mirror, which shows neither of them has lines. The next day Han-yu is dragged out of class and taken to the police station, where the detectives ask him why Ji-na's blood was on the sheets. Han-yu says it must have been her monthlies. Then the cops check the security cameras near Han-yu's building and see a group of friends walk by. When they come back, all of them have an extra line. At school, Yoon-hoop sees the same four guys and notices that they all have a line connecting them to Ji-na. She tries to call Ji-wook but he's already there confirming the same thing. The four boys are taken to the station and Ji-wook waits for the one with only one line to start crying. He pretends he'll take him home and gets him in the car, only to take him to Han-yu's place instead. The boy tries running away, but the detectives easily catch him again. This causes him to finally break and confess everything. Han-yu sedated Ji-na and brought the four guys to his apartment so they would take advantage of her while he watched. After this confession, the other three teens also confess and always blame Han-yu for forcing them to do it. Ji-wook now has a legal reason to search Han-yu's apartment and finds the sedative, but Han-yu says he still can't prove he did it. That night Ji-wook gets a call from the nursing home and he rushes there to discover that a mysterious woman has kidnapped his father. Looking at the camera footage, Ji-wook realizes it's Kyu-jin. At that moment he gets an anonymous text with a picture of Sun A, so he drives very fast to the hospital. Sun A is fine, however her line is bending. At that moment his father enters the room and Ji-wook is devastated to discover that Sun A's line connects to him. He immediately pulls the man back and gets ready to beat him up, but he can't bring himself to do it and has a breakdown. Meanwhile barista Junhoi is shocked to receive a video of her intimate moments. When she goes to her college class, everyone keeps staring at her. A text from a friend confirms that many people have received that video. Junhoi goes home to cry while her lover threatens her for supposedly spreading the recording. Later after work, she walks outside, intending to self-delete. However Kyu-jin stops her and gives her the glasses. At the bus stop Yoon-hoop waits for Jun-sun, who wishes her happy birthday in advance. Yun Hoop asks him for a favor and they go to a hotel. They have their first time together and now a red line connects them. After they're done, Jun Sun goes to the nearest bakery to get a birthday cake. While waiting for him, Yun Hoop hears some screaming and watches her line disappear. She follows a crowd and is devastated to discover Jun Sun, who has been killed by metal rods that fell from a construction site. After touching his blood, Yun Hoop thinks this confirms she's cursed and everyone too close to her will die. Yun Hoop runs to cry in private and receives a video of her best friend Kyung Jin tied to a chair with a text inviting her to the room of boundaries. Then she calls Ji Wook to ask for his help. When he arrives, he shares what happened with Sun A and his father. In return, Yun Hoop tells him she receives a birthday card every year but she doesn't know who sends them. Apparently this person has been counting down her birthdays and today she must do something for her 17th. Ji Wook looks at the texts and wonders if Kyu Jin is behind this too. He's run a background check on her but couldn't find her anyway, as if she didn't exist. The duo goes to the school and notices one classroom with the lights on. They run inside and she enters the classroom first, but when he follows her, he finds the room empty. Yun Hoop has found Kyung Jin and immediately frees her. Then the girls take the stairs but no matter how many steps they take, they keep coming back to the same floor. They hear Ji Wook looking for them on the roof and head there too. However, the girls reach the actual roof while Ji Wook has entered a strange room. There are a bunch of people there including Jun Hui, who says she's very lucky to have met Kyu Jin. A flashback reveals that Kyu Jin gave her the glasses while teaching her that to get rid of her lines, she must kill her lovers. Jun Hui put on the glasses and spent the night killing the men she was naughty with. She only has one line left and the man is now in the room too. When Jun Hui chops his head off, millions of red lines appear behind her. They're all connected to Kyu Jin, who makes them disappear before uncovering a table to reveal Ji Wook's father. He runs to untie him, only for Kyu Jin to hand him a knife while asking him to save Sun A. Ji Wook tries attacking her instead, but she easily blocks him and takes back the knife, which she uses to kill the old man. A furious Ji Wook opens fire, however the bullets disappear into a force field and Kyu Jin grabs him by the neck. On the roof, Yun Hoop tries to tell Kyung Jin about the lines, only for Kyung Jin to turn around with the glasses on. She says that Kyu Jin explained to her that the red lines are visible without the glasses if she dies. Suddenly Kyung Jin jumps on Yun Hoop and tries to choke her, so Yun Hoop takes her glasses off and steps on them to break them. Then Kyung Jin calms down and has no idea where she is, but she notices that Yun Hoop's eyes have changed color. To her shock, the wound on her cheek isn't closing and drops of blood float away from it. Yun Hoop blinks and finds herself in the alternate room. She yells at Kyu Jin to stop, so the woman throws Ji Wook away. Kyu Jin says that seeing the lines is a blessing while the crowd removes their glasses and surrounds them in a circle. Then Kyu Jin raises a sword and tries to slash Yun Hoop, however her mother jumps in to act as a shield. As she collapses, the mother apologizes to Yun Hoop for making her believe it was her drawing's fault. She actually had the glasses too and that's why she killed her husband. A furious Yun Hoop tries to attack Kyu Jin, who easily stabs her with a sword. Her blood starts floating up, so Kyu Jin raises her body too and makes a bunch of red lines burst out of her. These lines connect to a huge red ball made of lines while Kyu Jin explains that Yun Hoop's death will give the seeing gift to all humanity. Once the ball is big enough, Yun Hoop collapses. Kyu Jin tries to control the ball, which begins to glow until it explodes. The crowd gasps as the lines start covering the whole world. Yun Hoop uses the distraction to slash Kyu Jin's face and stab her chest. However, Kyu Jin says it's too late before falling dead. Then the crowd snaps out of their trance, not understanding what is happening. Everyone screams and runs around in panic. They bump into Ji Wook and make him drop his glasses. With another blink, Ji Wook, Yun Hoop, and Kyung Jin appear on the normal roof, but the ceiling is still red. Ji Wook tries to grab the glasses but the girls stop him and the glasses fall off the building. On the streets, all the citizens are freaking out because everyone can see the lines now. Sometime later, everyone on the train is wearing shades to avoid seeing the lines and Yun Hoop finally feels normal. Sun A has woken up from her coma without her line. Yun Hoop visits Jun Sun's grave and hears someone calling her name. It turns out to be Kyu Jin. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.